So.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was the best introduction ever.
It was the best, actually.
And thank you so much. We loved hearing both of you read. It was so great. So Robert is going to go first. So.
We're going to do sort of a tag team thing. We love to do this. I decided to go first, and then Molly will respond to what I'm doing. And we don't really have a set that we're going to be doing as much as she'll read something, and I'll think of something I've got in a poem, and we'll jump around. So it's kind of like call and response, or two jazz musicians bouncing off of each other. I'm going to be reading from this book of mine, Triptych, which is from Truscan Press, and I'm reading from my book Orpheus and Echo. And so the early part of the book is when the two characters, Orpheus and Eurydice, are falling for each other. And then the middle section, they're in a recording studio with Echo, who's the backup band. And then in the end, it's just sadness till it ends happy. So I'm going to start with this piece, Coincidence of Distance. Eurydice in the rain, her hands held upright, her fingertips interspersed among passing and splashing drops. She rubs, as if wearing a shawl from glistening silken threads of falling water. She cranes her neck, and raindrops run down her face and shoulders, back and waist, knees and legs. Her laughter is liquid from an excess of intimacy discovered in an interplay between body and water, as she feels more dryad than wood nymph. So, suppose she is a wren, a cupful of feathers, or a walnut shell small nest knit by a hummingbird from gathered spider webs. Orpheus atop a ledge, perching where a mountain stream spills over the stone liminal to a pool below. If gravity is science, he thinks, then balance is an art. He hears a pair of canyon wrens with their golden-throated tone of rippling, intertwined notes. Then Orpheus turns around and looks down. He sees a sapling, slender woman, lithe as if a willow branch, flirty as if a damselfly. She is a rain shower, slow dancer. She is the tisk, tisk, tisk song of a silken, threaded waxwing. And she is as if a sprite playing a lyre of white water along the xylophone spine of Orpheus. Shudder and vibrato, treble, tremor and fracture, quaver and quake, while distant Aeolus, papercomb cedar foliage and aspen branches and birch catkins.
I'm going to read from my book, Four Girls Forged by Lightning. So this one is called There is Shade in Our Eyes. We are waiting on the shore, trying to remember the sun to enjoy the water. Red algae shines in our cupped hands. We walk from safe sand banks toward the sound of sirens. The echo is like a magnet, always calling lovers to meet and follow any number of reasons to the ending. Our strut says, I do not know. Darkness pulls us closer to each other and to the moon lighting the path back down. Our mouths ask, where is the heat? The missiles are in the meeting of our lips. This is like fire, like drowning. As we tear apart, one of us seems to be running.
Adrift, a draft. Not a shipwreck, not a beaching, not a running aground lost and found, but a seabird siren song. See the sailboat cast off its keel and tiller, sail and rudder, growing two oars changing into branches that reach and grasp sand and hold the hull from bow to stern. As we turned into jettisoned yellow cargo and bleached driftwood and maroon castaways, we knew we were water, knew signs and signifiers, knew how meaning is gleaned from comets and stars appliqued on black velvet, an epistemology of light absorbed behind shut eyes. So we dreamed we ourselves were the island itself, vale and fen, hillock and stream, some round sandbox stranded in a room of white ocean, crowded among tortoise and terrapin and spotted mapped turtles, each shell a construction of reflecting moons, waning and malleable, adaptable and waxing. And from the distant island of Samothrace, we heard both mockingbird and waxwing calling. So to starboard we turned, held hands, held breath, as overboard we dove.
Tumbling up. I promised myself that I wouldn't be that girl again, a tide waiting for a moon, half over the horizon in this world, half waiting to begin waxing with you. This woman that I am now, feelings wrapped in layers, is calcified, hardened, cultured like a pearl. You come at me with that oyster knife drawn, sharpened, and I am wretched, open. Desire ripples through me, like so many shards of rocks and seashells turning in the lapidary of the seabed floor, where it transforms into sand. I would be again whatever you need me to be. Your voice is in my ear. The things you will say pull me like a current, an undertow. My legs fold open to you like the coquina shells tumbling up on the shore, transforming into butterfly wings.
Portrait of Eurydice is a charcoal sketch, written in runes, the wish girl charms. Feathers as if a scarlet tanager or winter wren or vermilion flycatcher, drawing me into runes and canyons inked black, where shadows slate walls and cliffs, as if tattoos written on cotton paper. And this island hummingbird asks me what kind of songbird I am. Goldfinch or meadowlark, prairie warbler or orchard oriole. Imagine, I say, I'm a school bus of open beaks, a jazz band of bobolinks, an aviary of titanium tin whistles, where the world is whorl, is word, is letter, is poem, written on an open origami palm, and skin is paper, is tale, is taloned dream song, is a stylus sketch of deranged cages with her birds, lost it, where her hands are paper birds. To you.
The neighborhood psycho dreams of love. All the children on the block follow you like stray cats. I watch you caress their fragile heads, read them stories at the paint-peeling picnic table, toss them smiles. You make them feel so safe. I want to press the ruffled edges of the hem on your dress to my cheek. I want to caress your fingers one by one, stuff them in my mouth. Pull one string of hair at a time, count each strand. I would lock you in my closet, keep your polka-dotted panties in a shoebox under my bed. I saw them once when you were bent over pulling groceries out of your trunk. I offered to help, but you said, "I'm fine." I watch you smoke on the front stoop. I want to be the unfiltered tobacco on your lips, your tongue lovingly licking over me, fingers pinching me close for a moment before you flick me away into the dirt. I want to bury you in my yard under the Japanese maple, your crimson lipstick the same shade as the fiery red of the leaves in the fall. I would plant flowers in your ribcage each spring to match your bountiful heart. I would rub your left middle finger knuckle bone all day long like a worry stone to ease my fears. All this is love, I think, rolling down my car window, offering you a light for your cigarette, holding my breath as you lean your face toward the flame.
Molly and I used to do these shows with some friends of ours. We'd book places and we'd get musicians and actors and poets and everybody else. And so this kind of came out of that experience. Painting the Town Wine, a cover song. Tell me why we fooled around one night at Café Le Petit Coquette. How our words were flirtatious and light-hearted, as if hummingbirds humming near trumpet vines in a meeting of beak and cochlea. How dalliance grew charcoal sketches of sirens playing rock guitars. How seduction enacted campy romantic overtures. So we wrote whole new alphabets using stylus and crane feather and grape skin, aiding and abetting our amorous adventures, so enchanted audiences could strut and swagger as if roosters and hens. How we broke the cockles of the arts, we were riling, cracking and reconfiguring both code and codex, so we could be genuine and generous and gorgeous, as if a collaboration of cockle shells and charms, stand up and shout out, low bows and high fives. How we sassed and seized our poetry as if some red, red rose, and our prose foolish and playful coquetry.
Ooh, coquetry. Such a great word. Let's see. I think I'm going to change the tone a little bit. So this is a longer poem. This is new as well. I think it's untitled because I'm not sure I like this title. So we're going to go with untitled for now. My husband, born in 1949, could never have imagined a future where so much precious time is spent creating passwords with a symbol, a capital letter, without repeating combinations we can remember. Cut the fat, we say, meaning to trim away excess. But everything seems to take longer now, at the same time that saying I love you travels via satellite across the world in half a second, give or take the weather conditions in space. Don't take any wooden nickels, and write when you get work, were things my grandfather said as we were leaving after Sunday dinner. The antique table where we break our bread now is polished by the hands of so many who came before us. Bless this food, we say, meaning bless us. And when we stop to exchange pleasantries on the street, we talk about the weather. It's hot, it's humid, it looks like snow. We mention feeling the rain coming in the ache of our joints. We point to the stars and say, look, there. The moon, my 3-year-old niece exclaims. She continues to wonder at this bright globe in the sky. Curtains hang to keep out the sun, the moonlight, the eyes of strangers. Silence in the dark is something tangible that we either want or fear. We have filled up dark space with light pollution, and we must now go to the wilderness to feel wildness. A moment considered stolen in time is one that we enjoyed. Some people close their eyes and see numbers, others words. Some see pictures, others only colors. And yet we can still communicate across distance with words like welcome, friend, love. We long for the people we have lost, and we miss people we don't see. Have you ever come upon your lover and looked at them objectively before you realized they were your lover? Can you remember how your lover looked to you before they became beloved? Can we even catch ourselves unawares? The closest we can imagine is reflection in still water, refraction, the water a veil, our self-consciousness, always the end though.
Well, the Orpheus and Eurydice legend ends with Eurydice being kidnapped by a satyr and Orpheus going into the afterworld to rescue her, but it's kind of a failed adventure, at least according to the mythology. So I rewrote it because that's where the fun is. Orpheus in Vegas, dream song. He turned to look back. A chorus of neon tourists tumbling from cabs and limos, from casinos pulsing poppy music. His hands hung as if busted drums, and his voice entranced. Vocal cords taut, tongue became stone, mouth a mute lyre, a scarecrow's ragged songs, and a glimpse of the green-eyed muse eluding and fading. How his ears ached for the sound of leaves at sunset, seen from the island high point of Samothrace, or gusting sunset cool along shore, a duet of waves and crashing cymbals, timpani and aftermath, and the arrival of echo. Then he felt a beat in his bones, rhythm in his wrists. He played walls like borans. Power lines grabbed and strummed became banjos. Stomped streets transformed to steel drums. Traffic stopped to listen, and then he sang. It was as if he was Aeolus calling winds from the farthest of the west. He played his body harp, scales and major keys, praising his muse, and minor keys, keening her loss. In an underground barking dog parking garage on the Strip, somewhere between Mandalay Bay and the Rio. Oh, wonder, Orpheus sang. Oh, wonder, Echo refrained and looked back. 3 salt pillars crumbled. Oh, wonder, green-eyed Eurydice enjoined, embracing wide-eyed Orpheus and handing him back his restrung guitar.
Nice. Very nice. So this one is called Gardener. I think Robert might know who this is about. I lean my elbows on the windowsill and look down at the garden. You are working a patch of black dirt with your hands. The dog stops and sniffs the air. The soft wings of a new blackbird rustle in a tender breeze. You look up at me and smile before you place the tomato plant in the ground, pinching the earth around its stalk. The smell of peonies drifts in the open window as I unwind my hair, letting it unfurl towards you like new roots.
This is sort of the last poem from this sequence, and it's kind of reflective. Orpheus, once a traveler. The boatman rows me from sea harbor to a blue island, circular as a brass bowl. Heavy rain is as if a waterfall. I stay on the glazed craft and look across oarlocks at rocks standing longer than music or muse, torn apart by wind and eroded by centuries of storms. Loud thunderclouds move across a dark gray sky as if centaurs in sooted snow answer, reverberate, and echo. Under a plum wine, dark silk sky, the ocean seems as if pressed from the skins of grapes. So I make ink, and from a blue heron feather I cut a pen so as to tattoo words in orchard rows of poetry, petitioning for the longevity of inscribed memory. My recollection is a crane's eye, so I recite poems expressing three true things. How trust is a tree balanced on a mountain precipice where waters fall, and how love is a bee skep, is cup, is terrapin, is island, rocked in the shawled arms of waves, and how autumn must close like chrysanthemums so spring can open its irises.
I love the ending of that one. I'm jealous of that ending. This one is called Fractals of Skin Hunger. We are mostly water. Everything we love, precious and scarce. Vast, flowing, unknowable. Ever more longing, awestruck, ferocity, unthinkable to lose such a world. Wetlands, corals, forests, mangroves, fish, seagrass. No restraint of the habit to be exploited recklessly, thorough and meshing. Water collects other water. A fragile tendency holds bodies together. Skin against skin gathers us toward recursion, reunion of circling, lichen on granite, patterning desire after our violent natures. Friction, altercation, alteration, fission, recalibration. Irreversibly, you said. Always, always, always.
I like that ending.
Thank you. Did you want to read any more?
I think we're probably done.
Good? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.